Hey everyone. Welcome to Dangerous Werewolf. Are you brave enough to step into the perilous world of werewolves with me? We'll uncover the secrets, face the fears, and explore the thrilling and dangerous aspects of these mythical creatures. So hold on tight and let's start this wild adventure together. 18 Missing Alex's POV. The past week has been amazing. We had a pack cook out and I got to talk to a lot more people. At first they called it a BBQ, but the night of, when they only served hot dogs and hamburgers, I let them know real quick as a country girl from the south, that was not a BBQ, it was a cookout. Because they now know about me, Xavier let the maids come back to the floor to do their work like they used to during the day and not while I was asleep. I personally think it's silly to have maids because what grown adult can't simply pick up after themselves. But apparently everyone in the pack has a job that they get pick what it is, and that was one of them. The only times they can pick, but it not be accepted right away is if it's a warrior position guard or something else that would require them to be physically superior to do their jobs. In those cases they have to train to meet the requirements. At first I think the maids were afraid to talk to me, but eventually they warmed up to me. Alyssa said it's because I'm their Luna, and no matter what there will be a divide between us and them as they look up to us. I think it's plain bullshit. If we're meant to be a family, then they shouldn't be afraid to talk to me. But Elizabeth explained while we can blend from time to time, sometimes the divide is needed in case of a battle. In any case, I finally found someone to talk to that's not directly related to Xavier. A maid, Lily. She is just the sweetest girl. She seems to be around 19, but she's very small, maybe 5 for if I'm being generous. Even though she's a year older than me, I see her as the little sister I always wanted. She is hilarious and I generally spend my free time following her around while she does her work and talk to her. I also try to help her with some of her work. At first she flat out refused to let me, but when I explained I was there anyway so she might as well accept the help, she caved. Elizabeth, Elisa and even Edmund started teaching me about werewolf history and filling my head with a shit ton of do's and don'ts for royals. Lily helps quiz me while I follow her around. I've settled into a routine that I really like. Xavier goes over what my role is and tells me werewolf stories and such while we cuddle at night, which I love. His voice is so thin. One thing I've noticed is he tends to get caught up with work and forgets about lunch. I've started making a point to grab lunch for him and Fergus and make them stop working long enough to eat. Which is where I'm currently headed to now. I knocked on the door and waited. I didn't want to interrupt and be rude by just walking in if he was on a call or meeting with other people. Even though he keeps telling me I can. Come in. Xavier said. I opened the door and walked in. Hey, brought you some lunch, I said, walking over to his desk. He looked so serious behind the desk, and freaking hot. How many times do I have to tell you? You don't have to knock, he said, looking at me while shaking his head with a small smile. Good, I'm starving, lass. Fergus said, eyeing the platter and 2 plates of food and rubbing his hands together. Sorry, this is for me and Xavier. Alyssa said for you to go up to the kitchen on our floor for your lunch. Something about you had promised to spend at least 2 lunches with her a week since you've been working a lot. I reminded him of his promise he made at dinner when she wasn't talking to him because she missed him. It made no sense to me to ignore someone just because you missed them, but it wasn't my bull and it wasn't my pasture. Fergus shot up out of his chair and ran out the door, closing it behind him. I laughed at him and set the platter of food on the coffee table. Xavier joined me on the couch, kissing the side of my head. This looks good, love, he said, digging in. That's real good, he said. Remind me to give the cook a raise. I made it, I said. Really? He asked. Why are you so surprised? You know I can cook. Besides, what am I not good at? I said with a grin. He leaned over and gave me a peck on the lips. You are great at everything, he said before turning to eat again. After we finished eating, my belly was full and it made me sleepy. So I climbed on Xavier's lap, which is my favorite place to be. when he went to sit back behind his desk. Chacho working on? I asked, looking at pictures of girls all over his desk. 10 teenage she-wolves have went missing from our pack and packs around our area. Someone has taken them, he said. I sat up straight, wide awake at his words. Do you have any leads? No, nothing, and that's what's bothering me. As king, I can feel all the wolves connected to me. When they die, feel the connection break. I still feel their connection, but it's faint. Where they were last seen, something happens and the scent washes away before we can investigate. He said, running his hand through his hair. What do you mean something happens to the scent? I asked. It either rains or the sprinklers have been on, washing away any scent. We can't seem to catch a break. He explained. Maybe that's not a coincidence, I said. He looked at me confused. Think about it. If I was going to kidnap a wolf with other wolves around who could just follow my scent, when would the best time to be to strike? I asked him, seeing if he saw where I was going. It's planned, he realized. It's not a crime of opportunity, it's planned out, and I bet the girls taken are watched beforehand, and when it rains, bam, the girl is gone. You need to tighten up security the next time it rains and shut the sprinklers off for the time being and instruct the other pack alphas of what we're looking for, I said, looking over the files of the girls in front of me. The 4 packs was ours: the Royal Pack, then Edinburgh Pack with Alpha Cameron, Sterling Pack with Alpha Logan, and Mordoon Pack with Alpha Angus. You really are good at this, he said, looking at me in awe. I watch crime documentaries like a religion. I might have picked up a thing or two, I said, still reading over the files. Xavier reached over me and put his phone on speaker and called a number. While he was setting up a conference call with the 3 alphas with the missing girls, I arranged the girls' finds in order from first taken to last. I noticed a pattern. I turned to Xavier as the last alpha got on the line. Can you all hear me? Xavier asked. There was a round of yeses from the line. As you may have heard, I found my mate, your Queen Luna, and I think she found something about the missing she-wolves I wanted to share. We haven't been able to follow any scent of the missing girls. We assumed it was bad luck, but my mate saw a connection. The abductions are not random. They always happen right before or during a storm to ensure the scent is washed away, or on nights the sprinkler systems are on. These are planned, Xavier said, filling them in. Xavier, I found something else, I said, whispering. I didn't want to disturb them, but since they were already on the phone, I figured why not. I can hear you, Vim, when you whisper, he said, whispering to me. And I heard chuckles on the phone. Then why are you whispering? I asked. He shrugged his shoulders and motioned for me to talk. Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sitting here looking at the files and I couldn't help but notice a pattern. They don't take 2 girls back to back from the same pack. They take one at random from one of you, then he moves on a random pattern until he's hit all 4 packs. The first 4 taken were all brunettes, 1 from each pack, then 4 blondes. But now he's moved on to redheads. He's gotten to so far, and that means he'll try to take 1 from our pack and 1 from Alpha Logan's pack. Part of me wants to put all the redheads in both packs in a safe room with guards, but that won't help the girls who have been taken. Is there a way we can put a tracker on all the redheads? Explain to them what's going on and give them a choice to be safety guarded in a room or used as bait. If they grab one of the girls with a tracker, then it won't matter about the rain or sprinkler systems. We can follow him to where he has the other girls. We've got time to plan CUC according to the weather forecast on Xavier's computer. For our areas, it's not due to rain for another week. And I was thinking about something else. In all the reports, there was not one witness, and it got me thinking. The castle we are in is old. In a lot of older castles, there are secret passages. While blueprints over time have gone missing, I wonder if this guy hasn't someone found some tunnels or blueprints from somewhere. Y'all's packs are y'all in old castles too? I asked. They all are, Xavier answered for them, deep in thought. Then it could be a possibility. It has to be someone familiar with all four packs to have that much access to even look for them. Is there anyone you can think of? I asked all four of them, not that I can think of. I heard one of the alphas on the phone reply, but y'all are old like Xavier, right? Over that much time it could be anyone. I said more to myself. I heard chuckling again when I called them old. I can't believe we missed all this. One of the alphas said, 2 months and we have nothing. You sit at my desk 5 minutes and you've came up with a pattern and a plan. Xavier said, smiling at me, you've gotten yourself a great Luna and Queen Sire. One of the men said, that I do. Xavier answered, and I have a way to find the passages. If we can't find the blueprints, get a bunch of baby powder and bellow hand dusters. If there is a secret passage, the powder will be sucked into the cracks of a passage. I said, still deep in thought. While Xavier and the alphas continue to discuss over the things I've come up with, a thought hit me. Hey Xavier, you said you can feel your connection to the wolves, right? I asked, not looking at him. Yes, he said. Well, can you feel if a wolf in your pack leaves your territory? I asked, looking something up on his laptop. Yes, he said, not seeing where I was headed. Did you feel the girls from your pack leave? Did any of you? I asked. I did. Came 3 replies from the alphas on the phone. No, I didn't. Xavier replied. Then maybe they're all here. I mumbled to myself. Who built this castle? I asked Benedict Tragi. Why? Xavier asked as I typed in his name in the search bar. Because according to the internet here, he also built the Prague Castle. It has secret passages and even an underground room for secret meetings. I said. I felt like I was missing something. I kept looking online for anything related to the architect, then Xavier started rubbing my back and something clicked. Randall. I said, looking at Xavier. What? He said, his head snapping to me. Your dad and Fergus couldn't find him. They said it was like he, poof, disappeared. He said, oh shit. It's him, I bet my life on it. I said. Randall ain't that the guard you've been looking for? One of the alphas asked. Yes. Xavier answered him, never taking his eyes off of me. When I was down there, when Michael and the others made sure he couldn't get to me, he started saying things I didn't think much of. I thought he was talking out of his ass, trying to scare me. He said something about taking me to his playroom with all his other toys. I wonder if by toys he meant girls. I said, watching Xavier as everything clicked into place for him. You 3 get on looking for the tunnels in you packs, and I'll do the same. And round up any redheads in your pack, Logan, and I'll do the same. Give them the option of being locked in a safe room with guards or given a tracking device, and I'll do the same here. Xavier said yes and yes, sir. The one who I'm assuming Alpha Logan was answered. All of you update your guards to be on the lookout for Randall. Don't tell them we suspect he took the girls, and don't tell anyone else we think he's still here. Underground. Just in case. I don't like the idea, but he is crossing territories way too easily. Someone may be working with him. This is too much work for just one person. I added, yes, Luna. I heard from 3 different voices. Call if you find anything and I'll do the same. Goodbye. Xavier said, ending the conference call. So you need to let me help more often. I said, kissing him on the lips. You are an amazing queen already. He mumbled, deepening the kiss. The kiss got hot and heavy, and Xavier lifted me up and had me straddle him with my legs on either side of him. Just as he broke the kiss and started kissing down my neck, the phone rang. Xavier growled at it before answering. What? He said in a sharp, low tone. Alpha Oliver, what do I owe the pleasure? Xavier said, rolling his eyes. Yes, that will be fine. I'll have the guest room set up. How many will you be needing? Xavier asked with his eyebrow raised, indicating he was irritated. All right. See you tonight. He said, hanging up the phone. Who's Alpha Oliver? I asked. He's an alpha from Australia. And a thorn in my side. He constantly complains over every little thing. On top of that, he's always trying to shove his daughter down my throat, he said. For some reason, I got irritated at the mention of this. Not at Xavier, but Alpha Oliver. Xavier noticed my change in mood. No need to be jealous. I never dated her, even gave a look her way. She's a horrible person inside and out. He said, running his nose along my jaw, making me shiver. Why are they coming here? I said, and I'll admit it, in a whinny tone. Xavier chuckled. He said he was visiting another alpha in Ireland and decided to visit me since he was this way. But I know it's because he heard I found my mate, and he wants to try to shove his daughter at me again. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought her. She's too annoying to take anywhere without a purpose. He said, kissing my neck. They will be here tonight. They're only staying one night. They will be leaving by tomorrow. He added, do I have to be nice? I asked, hoping he'll say no, but knowing he probably won't. Yes, but if they insult you, nice goes out the window. He said, his arms tightening around me and his eyes darkening. Can they stay on a different floor? I asked. Xavier chuckled. Of course, love, he said. I snuggled up to him and started drifting off. If you need my help again, wake me up, I said sleepily. I don't know at what point, but I ended up falling asleep. 19. Chess Trip in Xavier's POV. After Alex fell asleep on me, Fergus came back to resume our work. I filled him in through the mind link as I didn't want to wake Alex up. He agreed what Alex had come up with was brilliant, and we made plans to round up all the redheads and the Packers came in and give them their options of what they wanted to do. We also decided to have Michael, Jimmy, and David look for any secret passages after we pick up some powder and handheld bellows. I also mined, like some maids, to prepare guest rooms on the second floor and assigned a guard to bring Alpha Oliver and his daughter Charlotte up for dinner when it was time. I didn't want them to have the code to my floor as Charlotte has tried in the past to get in my room. Because the main thing we were working on was the missing wolves, and since Alex had pretty much gave us a game plan, I carried Alex up to our room, careful not to wake her up. Still holding Alex with her legs around my waist and her arms around my neck, I slipped off my shoes and laid on the bed with her still on top of me. I managed to pull off her boots to make her more comfortable and dropped them on the floor. My wolf purred at having her in our arms and drifted off to sleep. I woke up about 2 hours before dinner and opened my eyes to meet Alex's blue ones. She was still on top of me, propped up on an elbow, tracing the features on my face. I smiled and rolled over on top of her as she squealed and started laughing. I love that sound, I said, kissing her neck. I love you, she whispered faintly. I leaned back to look at her and her eyes went wide, realizing she had said that out loud. I love you too, I said, crushing her lips with mine. I lifted up her shirt and started massaging her skin when I felt someone pushing to get in my mind through the pack link. Alpha, I was sent to tell you that dinner will be ready in an hour, but since I heard giggling, I figured I'd tell you this way, Fergus said through the mind link, laughing. Fine, I replied, reluctant to get off of my mate. We should get ready. Dinner will be ready in an hour, I told her. UGG, okay? She said, pouting and pouching out her bottom lip. I playfully bit her lip, making her gasp, and took advantage and slipped my tongue in her mouth, exploring and savoring her taste. Come on, I said, breaking the kiss, getting up and pulling her with me. I'm going to take a shower, wanna join me? I asked, wrapping her hands around her waist. I had one before I came down to your office. I'll take one after dinner, she replied, walking into the closet. With me? I asked, teasing her. Maybe, she said, looking at me with a grin. I growled and groaned, then went in to take another cold shower. After I got ready, I came out and saw Alex had on blue jeans, her boots, and a nice shirt that she looked amazing in. I know she hates dresses, so I didn't say anything. She can wear whatever makes her comfortable. We got to the dining room, but only Fergus, Elisa, and my parents were there. As soon as we sat down, Alex asked, Where's my little people? Turning to Elisa. I gave them an early dinner and sent them to bed. When we have company dinners, we don't let the kids eat with us in case it gets heated. Elisa explained. Technically, I cut Alex off because I knew what she was going to say. You're 18 and that makes you an adult. I answered with an amused smirk on my face. She really didn't want to deal with Alpha Oliver or Charlotte. Besides, you wouldn't want to leave me alone with them, would you? I asked. Like I assumed, she grumbled and shook her head now. So where is the whore of Babylon? Alex asked, making everyone chuckle. Alex, my mother scolded her. But we're family, I can make those comments before guests get here. She defended. My wolf was howling at Alex's comment about us being family. I smiled, and so did my father. So did you leave the kids at the end of a rainbow? Alex asked Fergus, causing him to spit out his drink a little. I thought we were past that, lass. He said, looking at her with a smile playing on his lips. Even with all their bickering like siblings Alef into everyone here. Could you not have worn a dress? My mother asked Alex. Hey, these are my good jeans and I've got my shirt on. Alex defended if my mama couldn't make me wear a dress and heels to church. No one can. She said, pick up her fork. Alex started picking at her food. We have to wait for guests, dear. My mother said, getting on my nerves, as well as Alex's. Well, they're late. Alex said, shrugging, continuing to pick at the food in front of her. It's seen as disrespectful and they'll notice if your plate is missing food. My mother carried on. Alex stopped picking at her plate, then reached over and stole a fork full of food from my plate. I looked at her and she just shrugged her shoulders. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me, she said, laughing. And I joined her. She was something else. I loved everything about her, even when she stole my food. The door to the dining room opened and Alpha Oliver and Charlotte came walking in. Sire, Sir Fergus, Elisa, Queen Mother, Oliver said, addressing everyone. But my mate. Alpha Oliver, I have the pleasure of introducing my mate and your future queen, Alexandria. I said, gesturing to Alex. Alexandria, this is Alpha Oliver and his daughter Charlotte. I continued, nice to meet you both. Alex said sincerely with a smile. I could see she really was trying. Charlotte made a face at Alex that made my blood boil. As they took their seats, I had the seating arranged to keep Charlotte as far away from me and Alex as I could. I sat in the end of the table like always. Alex on my right, Fergus next to her, Elisa next to him, and across from Alex sat my father, and next to him my mother. Alpha Oliver sat next to my mother with Charlotte on the other side of him. I hope you don't mind I tagged along with father. I missed you, Charlotte said, looking at me. I don't see why. I answered, irritated at her blatant attempt at flirting in front of my mate. Just then Lily came in, pushing the serving tray. Normally we don't have someone serve us dinner, but when we have guests it's expected. I knew Lily and Alex had formed a fast friendship and I thought maybe having her here will make Alex feel more at ease. Plus, if anything is said, I know she wouldn't say anything since she's a friend of Alex's. We started to eat. I was hoping we could get dinner over with quickly so they would be out of my hair. So Alexandria, where are you from? Oliver asked her. North Carolina. She answered. Never been to the States myself. Always heard good things though. Oliver said, always the suck up. Why haven't you been marked yet? Having second thoughts. Charlotte asked with a sneer and nasty tone. I'm not sure about you, but I don't just jump into a man's bed I don't know. Alex answered, causing me, Fergus, Elisa and Dad to chuckle quietly. Even Lily cracked a smile. As I'm sure she's used to the wild things Alex says by now. Is something funny to you, slave? Charlotte screamed as she jumped out of her chair and marched over to Lily. Before I could say a word, we all heard a slap and Lily fell to the floor from the impact. Alex was quick out of her chair and grabbed Charlotte by the hand before she could hit Lily again. Alex stabbed Charlotte's hand with her dinner knife, kneed her in the groin and sucker punched her. I rushed over and grabbed Alex by her waist before she could do any more damage. "Are you not going to do anything, Xavier? She hurt me." Charlotte screeched at me with blood dripping from her hand and nose. I growled at her disrespect. "It's King Xavier to you, and who gave you permission to hurt a member of my pack?" I said, seething with rage. "Listen here, you stupid plastic bimbo. If you ever hurt Lily or anyone else in my pack again, I will not hesitate to skin you like a cat. I can promise you that," Alex said in a voice that had the hair on the back of my neck standing up. Charlotte scrambled to her feet and Alex lunged at her, but I held her back by her waist. Charlotte ran away, but Alex wasn't done yet. "And put some damn cloths on that actually fit you. Did your mother teach you nothing of modesty? Fucking whore." Alex screamed at her as Charlotte fled from the room, the knife still stuck in her hand. Alex turned around and I let go of her as she bent down to Lily. "Let me see Lil." "Alex," said, reaching for her. Lily kept her head down. "You're gonna have to look at me so I can see." "It's okay," Alex said, soothing her. Lily lifted up her face and I saw she had a busted lip and tears in her eyes. Alex reached and picked Lily up bridal style and carried her to the kitchen and sat her on the counter. The kitchen staff stopped what they were doing and looked at the scene before them. "Do you have a first aid kit, Xavier?" she asked me. "Sure," I said, going to grab it from one of the bathrooms. "It'll be okay, Alex. It'll heal," I heard Lily say. "Yay, but you never know where her hands have been. Better play it safe and clean it," Alex answered, and I chuckled, handing her the first aid kit. While Alex cleaned up her lip, Alex had her thinking face on. She was so cute when she was trying to figure something out. She always tilts her head to the side and bit the inside of her lip, pulling her lips to one side. Looking at the kitchen staff. "Lily, this isn't the first time, is it?" Alex asked her. Lily didn't reply and looked at the ground. Alex probed. "No, every time she comes here she picks on all the staff. She's hit me before and some of the other girls too," Lily answered. Alex looked at the kitchen staff. "It's true, Luna, she's hit me before too," Candace spoke up. The other kitchen staff nodded their heads in agreement. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked them softly. "Because she said she was going to be the queen, and if we talked she'd have us killed," Lily answered with tears in her eyes. "Lil, next time someone hits you, beat their ass. Girl, I've seen you lift and carry like 5 times your weight. You can take that plastic, but if you can't, then come get me. If I can't beat her ass, I can at least cut the silicone out of her and get a few good punches in," Alex said, making Lily laugh. All of you, promise me you'll stand up for yourselves. No one, I repeat, no one has the right to treat you like this. No one. You can always come to me or Xavier and we will take care of it," Alex continued. "Okay, I promise," Lily replied. The kitchen staff nodded their heads in agreement. My chest swelled with pride. She had called my pack her own and was already trying to take care of everyone. She is already a great queen. Lil, take the rest of the night off and Alex said. Lily looked at me for confirmation. "She's your queen, she has just as much authority as I do. Go rest," I said. We walked back into the dining room. But before we got to our seats, Oliver said, "I think an apology is in order." "It's okay. I know you can't control everything your daughter does," Alex said honestly. "No, I mean from you. So she hit a slave, so what?" Oliver said, making my blood boil. "Slave? Lily isn't a slave. There are no slaves here," Alex said. "Do you have pack members you keep as slaves?" Alex said, outraged, and I as well. "Of course. People need to know their place," Oliver said as casually as you would comment on the weather. Alex's face, neck and ears turned red and her body started to shake. I had never seen her this mad before. I was just glad it wasn't directed at me. Then you don't need to be alpha, Alex said in a calm and menacing voice. I took that as my cue and said, Alpha Oliver, I hereby strip you of your title as alpha. I will make arrangements for your beta to take over until another alpha can be appointed, and there will be major changes to your pack. First being you shall bear the title of Omega as well as your family, I said, placing my hand on his chest to strip him of his power. A ray-red energy ran from his chest and into my arm. When I appoint the new alpha, I will transfer the power to him. And I want you off our territory tonight. Alex said you have 1 hour, she continued. Oliver's face went white and he scurried out of the dining room, his tail tucked in between his legs. Well, that was quite a show, Fergus said, laughing. Glad I could be your source of entertainment, Alex said dryly as she went back to her seat and continued eating. I joined her as she stole my half-eaten roll off my plate, grinning at me. 20 complete, Alex's POV. After dinner, Xavier and I went to our room. I got to call Oliver's beta and inform him of the changes in Oliver's new title. Xavier said, sitting down on the couch, taking off his jacket and shoes. Okay, I'm going to go take a shower, I said, walking into the bathroom. After I got rest and was standing under the hot water, I washed my body and my hair and was just letting the water cascade over my back, loosening up my muscles. After 20 minutes, that's when I saw it. The devil spawned from hell staring at me up in the corner of the shower. So I did the only logical thing. I screamed. Xavier came barreling in the room. What's wrong? He asked, coming over to me. Kill it, kill it, kill it, I screamed, clinging on to him. Xavier looked at where I was pointing and he started laughing. That is why you screamed, he said, laughing again. Xavier, please, kill it, I said with tears in my eyes. He finally noticed how freaked out I was and walked over, fully clothed, under the water and killed the spider. You're willing to take on a werewolf, an alpha at the end, his daughter, but a spider has you screaming, he said, looking at me. I can't help it. I'm terrified of those things, I confessed, hugging him to me for comfort. If I get within 5 miles of one, those damn things always find me. I hate them, I said into his chest. I heard Xavier growl and looked up at him. Alex, the Umpire Deception by Drake Mason, and you are ignorant, as the undocumented changeling, and forced to pose as a low-level witch. He trailed off, looking down at me with black eyes, and that's when I remembered I was still in the shower. Naked. 21 morning light, Xavier's POV. It had been 10 days since Alex went to sleep after I marked her. I was growing worried that something was wrong. The doctor kept reassuring me that she was fine. All of her vitals were normal and her scent was changing, indicating that she was connecting with her wolf. True to my word, I keep Alex with me at all times. I bathed her and brushed her hair, clothed her and carried her around with me everywhere. You could feel the excitement of the pack as we all wondered what her wolf would look like. I didn't care as long as she was okay. Having breakfast with my family in the dining room, I had Alex on my lap. I put her arms around my neck and had her straddled on top of me with her face in my neck, as that's her favorite place to be. I finished breakfast and was rubbing her back. I noticed earlier all the scars from what Randall did to her had faded and were almost gone. I was glad she wouldn't be left with scars as a reminder of what happened. Suddenly Alex shot up and looked right into my eyes. My heart fluttered with happiness that she was finally awake, but her eyes were not her own. They shinned bright silver, a color no wolf has ever had. Alex's wolf smiled at me. Hello, mate, she said, rubbing her nose against mine. Hello, I said, smiling, happy that her wolf knew who I was. 1 minute Alex is on my lap, the next she's in the chair next to me, moving faster than any wolf. We all jumped at the sudden movement. Alex's wolf saw our expressions and smiled sheepishly. Sorry, I forgot you're a bit slower than I am, she said. Colt got off his chair and walked over to Alex's wolf. "Hello, little one." She said, "I remember when you were created. I remember when you all were created." She continued picking Colt up and letting him nuzzle her neck. We all stared at her in shock. Finally, Elisa spoke up. "What do you mean you remember when we were created?" She said, asking the question that was on all of our minds. "Forgive me, I should introduce myself. I am Celeste, first and only daughter of the moon goddess Selene. Sorry to have kept you waiting so long. I know you expected it to only be a few days, but Alex and I had to go through each other's memories, and as old as I am, it took a bit longer." She said, smiling at me. "You're the moon goddess's daughter?" asked my father open-mouthed. "Yes, let me explain. I know you all have heard stories, but they are just that, stories. None of them have a ring of truth to them." She laughed, grabbing my hand to hold and closing her eyes for a moment. I could tell she was enjoying the sparks. You see, my mother Selene was admired for her beauty and serenity. The god Zeus, or Jupiter as he is known, fell in lust with her, not love. She, on the other hand, hated him, as she sees marriages as an unbreakable bond. She didn't like that he slept around on Hera, his wife. Instead, she fell in love with a human. He had bonded with some of her wolves, and it intrigued her, as none of her wolves had ever truly liked anyone but her. When Zeus found out, he was furious, and he struck the man with lightning, trying to kill him. In an effort to save her love, one of the wolves he befriended, an alpha, offered to share his life force with the man to save his goddess from the pain of loss. Thus my father came to be the first werewolf. As time wore on, he was able to be at one with the wolf, and they would change forms, intertwining their souls and protecting their packs and my mother. Around this time, my mother gave birth to me and my twin brother. When we were born, we could shift as well, a trait passed from our father. While my mother named me Celeste, I have other names you may know me by, such as Artemis and Diana. My brother Osiris is also known as Apollo. It's a common mistake that history keeps saying that Zeus is our father, when in fact he is not. We were the only children Selene gave birth to. While she considers all wolves her children, the rest of you were created by her, not born from her. When my mother creates a wolf, she creates them in pairs, as mates. Alex said it puts her in mind of yin and yang, two sides of the same soul. Over centuries I have been by my mother's side, helping her and watching over her created children. I came down to earth when the battle of the gods came to earth. I fought with my mother's children in the Greek times as Artemis and Roman times as Diana, where I fell. Normally, when wolves meet their mate and have an honorable life, my mother lets the human and the wolf side pass on into paradise, where they can be together for all of eternity, always together. Because I didn't have a mate, when I die, I returned to my mother's palace and continued helping her, no longer able to return to earth. My mother has each wolf's life force in small marbles on shelves next to their mates, waiting for the perfect time to be brought to earth. You can tell the mates because there is a pink line linking them together. No matter where you put them, or how far apart, the line remains. If a wolf's mate dies before they can meet, she will pair them with a human for that lifetime, so they can live a happy and fulfilling life. When a wolf doesn't meet his mate or doesn't have an honorable life, we wipe their human memories, and my mother reincarnate tests them to give them a second chance at reaching paradise. Normally, wolves only take 2 or 3 lifetimes before they complete the task. Mates fascinated me. As time grew on, I often wondered what it would be like to be loved in the way my mother's other children got to. My brother Osiris even had our mother send him to Earth, and she gave him a mate. But because she wasn't a true born to him mate, after they both passed, she moved on to be reincarnated with her true mate, while my brother returned to us and would watch over her new life in sadness. I wanted a mate more than anything, but couldn't go through the heartbreak my brother did. Even though my mother offered many times to return me to Earth before I died, I just couldn't do it. Then, centuries ago, something happened. A wolf was created without a mate. It had never happened before. My mother didn't know what to do and she cried for years over the wolf's predicament. She felt responsible. Something about the wolf drawed me to him. I thought at first maybe it was because he didn't have a mate like me. I watched over the wolf throughout his lives, never finding a true mate. Sometimes finding a choice mate, or a mate my mother would send him and finding some form of happiness. My heart broke for him. I was drawn to him, but couldn't explain why. And finally on his 7th reincarnation, the reason why he didn't have a mate came to light. 18 years ago, a human girl was born. Suddenly there was a human life force in a marble next to the wolf born without a mate, and they had a golden line linking them together. My mother was thrilled at the possibility of the mateless wolf finally having a mate. But no one knew where she came from. And she was human. Normally my mother has a wolf spirit prepared for the human mated to an alpha, as she has them paired before birth. But this time she didn't. She spent years visiting the little girl in her dreams, trying to find the right wolf for her. When the girl turned 15, my mother came back one day and huffed that the girl was so stubborn it reminded her of me. Then it all clicked into place. We didn't notice, but we should have. The girl looked just like my human form. Because I had already died on Earth, my mother couldn't send me down. Fate intervened and created Alex just for me, and centuries earlier had created a wolf just for me. Shadow was that wolf. He was created just for me, and Xavier and Alex were created for each other. I am so sorry it took so long, my love, Celeste said, rubbing circles on my hand with her thumb. Suddenly Shadow took over. I would wait 0 lifetimes for just one with you, he said, kissing her hand. Shadow and Celeste pulled back and let Alex and I come to the front. She is so cool, and to see the things she's seen, it's amazing. I always loved Greek mythology, but to see it play out from her memories was amazing. Alex gushed excited. I miss you, Alex, Colt suddenly said, shocking us all. I miss you too, little man, Alex said, tickling him. He hopped off her lap and went to play with his sister. I have to put that in his baby book. His first words, Elisa exclaimed, running off to her room. It had to be Alex. Couldn't have been Fergus said, grumbling. Alex laughed, sticking her tongue out at him. After breakfast, Alex pulled me to our bedroom. I knew right then her wolf was a lot stronger than mine. She shoved me in the room, slamming the door behind her and locking it. She turned to face me with a growl and her eyes shining silver. My wolf wants to play, she said. We spent the rest of the day in bed, worshipping each other and letting our wolves have their fun. 20 to Luna amped Queen Alex's POV. It's been a day since I woke up. Last night I marked Xavier and my wolf is beaming with happiness and pride. I feel stronger and invincible. I know that has nothing to do with me and everything to do with Celeste. When Celeste and I were bonding our souls, I learned of how her and Shadow came to be and all the time they spent waiting for each other. I cried. I was terrified I'd somehow screw it up for all 4 of us, but Celeste reassured me that if that happens now, we can be reborn and try again. That her mother promised her and 4 of us would stay together. Another bonus was now I was able to mind Link Xavier. Something he expected as he was my mate. But what he didn't expect is no matter how hard he tries, he couldn't keep me out. Xavier can mind Link any wolf under his rule, and I shouldn't be able to mind Link anyone in the pack until the Luna ceremony. But I tried it on Elisa and it worked perfectly. She also found out that she couldn't keep me out either. I think it has to do with Celeste being the moon goddess's born daughter. I'd wager to bet I could mind Link anyone wolf on Earth I wanted, but we decided to keep that to ourselves. This morning I was informed since tonight was a full moon that the Luna ceremony for the pack was tonight, as well as my coronation as queen. Normally it's done at different times, but Xavier is so pushy. But I can see his point. If we waited for the next full moon for the coronation a month from now, something might happen with all this Randall business, especially since it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So I was told by Elizabeth that tonight at midnight, when the moon is almost at its peak, just the pack, Xavier and I will go out into a clearing in the woods and perform the Luna ceremony. Xavier cuts my hand in his, then we join them together and I repeat after him. Then I will shift for the first time, in front of everyone. I'm a little nervous about that, as I was told your first shift hurt horribly, could take a few hours, and everyone screams the whole time. Celeste keeps telling me that when the time comes not to fight it, just let go. I feel like she has something up her sleeve. And we both agreed we would not scream, no matter how much it hurt. Then, when the moon is at its highest, we will return to the castle, and in front of the other alphas from packs all around the world who could come last minute, I will be crowned. Although the Luna ceremony is the one that matters. But crowning is just a formality. Celeste let me dig through her memories of previous coronations so I would know what to do. I really like her. It feels like she's always been with me. Only now I can hear her. No one besides the family knows Celeste is the moon goddess's biological daughter, and we all want to keep it that way. Xavier is worried someone may try to take me to produce strong pups. But Celeste just bristles her fur and says let them come. I have destroyed millions a lot stronger than any others on this earth. I like her attitude. Currently, I've spent most of the day being poked and prodded as the 2 dresses for tonight were fitted. After taking a much-needed nap, I got up and showered, curled my hair and slipped on the white Luna dress just as Elisa knocked on my door. "Ready?" she asked, poking her head in. "Sure," I replied, following her out of the castle and into the woods. We walked to a clearing where everyone was dressed in white. Everyone parted, creating a path straight to the middle where Xavier stood on a platform. He helped me up and I could feel joy radiating off of him. "Beloved pack members, we are here tonight to welcome to the pack my mate and your Luna, Alex," he said, taking a knife off of a podium. He cut his hand and I held out my hand to him as he cut mine. He pressed out wounds together, holding my hand. I was told I would feel a rush of power, but I felt nothing. "That's because we are already more powerful than anything on this earth," Celeste said, rolling her eyes. "Oh, okay. Yay, that makes sense." I answered her, then turned my attention back to what Xavier was saying. "Repeat after me. I, Alex, pledge my life to my pack and swear to uphold my loyalty and duty to my pack and its members as its Luna," he said. "I, Alex, pledge my life to my pack and swear to uphold my loyalty and duty to my pack and its members as its Luna," I repeated. Everyone started to cheer and Xavier held my hand up and licked my wound, closing it. And I followed his lead and did the same to his. "Remember, don't fight it," Celeste reminded me. I closed my eyes and felt her take over then. Nothing happened. I heard gasps and I looked down and saw shiny silver paws. "You're beautiful," Xavier said, rubbing my head. "There has never been a wolf of that color before." I heard someone in the crowd say, "It was like she has shifted all her life." Someone else said, "She was born to be a wolf." Said another, "She's as big as Xavier." One said, "As the first human queen, my mate is truly a gift from the moon goddess." Xavier said, trying to explain why I was different, but I already knew why. "I was told your wolf mostly takes over when you're in your wolf form, but for Celeste and I, it wasn't true. It's like we were one. We both had control. We were of one mind. It was an odd feeling, but a good one. Let's run," I said to Xavier through the mind link. "It seems we have some extra time and my mate would like to take a run. Anyone from the pack who would like to join us is more than welcome to," he said, his voice booming over the area. I looked at Lily and saw her staring at me with a smile. "You gonna run with me?" I asked her. "Of course, Luna," she replied. "Cut the shit, Lil, I'm just Alex to you," I said, waiting for people to shift. Xavier started to take off his pants and I growled at him loudly and shook the whole podium. "Stop right there, mister. Just shred the pants. No one sees what's mine." I said a little too loudly as I saw him wince then smirk. Celeste agreed with me. I saw the looks of fear on some of Vak's faces and immediately felt bad about how loud it seems my little mate doesn't want me to disrobe. Guess I'll need a new pair of pants. Xavier said, smoothing over their worries over why I growled. I heard a bunch of chuckles, especially from the men. Xavier shifted and I was as big as him. We stood side by side as equals. He started to trot off, then turned and looked back at me to follow. But I was waiting on Lily. Once she shifted, I had Xavier on one side and Lily on the other. Through my memories, Celeste had become protective of her as well. We ran a little bit, not going my full speed, as I knew we'd quickly leave everyone, including Xavier, behind, and I didn't want to have anything else to have to explain. I kept pace with Lily, not wanting her to fall behind. We made a semi-circle around the packed grounds and then headed to the castle to get ready for the coronation. With Xavier's go-ahead, I had offered Lily the job as my assistant this morning. Xavier said I needed one and I didn't trust anyone else like I did her. Celeste agreed. She had been there when Lily was created and knew she was a sweet and caring wolf who would not betray us. We got to the castle doors and I stopped and rubbed my head on Shadow's neck and licked his snout. Then I nipped at one of his ears playfully and nuzzled him, not wanting to leave him. Finally, I reluctantly left him and went up to our room, while Xavier went to his office to get ready. Apparently, we can't see each other before the coronation, which doubles as a wedding. When I got into my room, I shifted back, following Celeste's lead. I noticed I was still in the white dress. I was confused, to say the least. You keep forgetting who I am, girl. I got this, Celeste said. So I won't have to worry about ripping my cloth. However, that's a plus. I said to her, putting my hair up and running to take a shower to get the dirt off of my lower body. I got undergarments and a robe on as Elizabeth and Lily came in to get me ready. After being tortured with make up and a sore scalp, I stepped into the dress made with the royal color green. I didn't know what Xavier would be wearing yet, and I didn't care, I just wanted to be with him. It's only been 45 minutes and I missed him. I was hopeless. After walking for what felt like miles in the castle, we came to huge double doors, and standing in front was Fergus, Edmund, Jimmy, and David. I couldn't help it. I laughed so hard when I saw them. All the men were wearing kilts, bagpipes. I said to Fergus through the mind, "Linko, push up, lass." He replied, smiling. "I will never let you live this down," I said as Jimmy and David opened the doors for them and him and Elisa walked through. Lily walked off to go to another entrance. I heard someone announcing then, and the doors opened again and Elizabeth and Edmund went through. After hearing them being announced, the doors open again. This time for me. I took a deep breath and walked forward. As I entered, I heard a man call out, "Alexandria, Luna of the royal pack and future queen." I walked down the steps and Xavier came into view. I snickered with Celeste with what he was wearing. While he looked amazing, it was still a kilt. I kneeled down in front of him, my knees on a pillow, with my head bowed. "Goddess, you're making me hard being in that position." I heard him say through the mind, Link, as the minister was talking, "You are wearing a kilt." "Easy access, my king," I replied, knowing that calling him my king would make him harder. He groaned in the link. "Behave. If we get through this in 15 minutes, and then I'm making you keep that promise." "I would love nothing more, master." I said. I felt his desire and lust radiating off of him as I projected dirty images to him. "Knock it off, you, to everyone in a 10-foot radius can feel your lust." Elizabeth snapped at both of us, effectively putting a stop to our back and forth. After the minister finished, Xavier placed a crown on my head and I stood up next to him, joining hands facing each other. The minister bound our hands with a cloth that matched his kilt, and the long piece of fabric the same color was placed over both of our shoulders. I got lost in Xavier's eyes while the minister droned on. Then Xavier turned us both towards the crowd as everyone cheered and clapped. After the cloth was removed from our shoulders and hands, Xavier led me around the room, introducing me to all of the alphas and their lunas in attendance, as well as a few betas. I saw Lily off to the side by herself. "You okay?" I asked her through the mind link. "Yay, just a lot of people I don't know," she replied, looking around. "Well, if anyone gives you trouble, mind, link me immediately." "Okay," she said. "Promise." "I promise," she replied, laughing at my overprotectiveness. 23 Rage Lily Alex's POV. As we walked back into the ballroom, we continued to greet our guests, and then Xavier pulled me by the arm and whispered, "We're going to have a meeting with the other alphas with missing wolves in about 20 minutes. I figured you'd like to be there." "Yes, of course. In your office," I clarified. He nodded his head. "Yes," he answered. "Then I'm going to slip away and change. The ball is almost over anyway, and I want out of this dress." I mumbled, scratching at my sides. "Okay," he said, chuckling. "Just lay your crown on the dresser. I add the boxes they go and put there," he instructed. "You know you could come with me and help you get out of this dress. There is a corset," I said in the mind link. I watched him shiver as his eyes turned black. He grabbed my hand and started pulling me up towards the raised platform with the thrones. He pulled me to his side, holding an arm about my waist. "If I can have your attention, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming to show your support for my mate and I. It is truly appreciated. You are all dismissed. You can stay and eat and drink as much as you like, but you are not obligated to do so. Feel free to roam about the gardens. Have a good night." "Thank you," he said, smiling. "Should the new queen speak?" I heard someone say. It was followed by a lot of yeses. I knew from Celeste's memories of past crowning ceremonies that the new queens usually didn't speak. For some reason, this felt like a trap. "We got this," Celeste said. I stood in front of Xavier and smiled at all the people in the room. "What exactly would you like to hear?" I asked politely with a soft smile. "What do you think of all of us werewolves?" one asked. "You were brought up as a human. What gives you the right to rule us?" a female voice shouted. "Isn't it true you tried to leave?" another voice asked. After that, it went deadly quiet. Leaning on Celeste to steady my nerves, I replied, "I think you all are an amazing pack of wolves. The love and care I've seen in this pack surpasses anything I'd ever witnessed or heard of. To answer the lady's question, nothing gives me the right to rule. Only the moon goddess Selene knows why she chose me. She had to have had a reason. She must have saw something in me that led her to believe I was the right one to be given the honor of being King Xavier's mate as well as your queen. As for trying to leave, please do try to see it from my point of view at the time. I had no knowledge that werewolves even existed. When I was first brought here, I wasn't told the reason why. All I knew was I was being held here against my will, by what looked to me as a cult. How would any of you fare if you were ripped from your lives and held against your will, with no answer as to why? Would you not try everything in your power to get back home to your loved ones? Now I know why I was brought here, and I would never leave. This is my home and you are my family." I finished smiling. Xavier came up behind me and placed an arm around my waist as people cheered and howled. Xavier pulled me out of the ballroom through a side door, and we made our way to our room. "That was well spoken," he said, looking at me with a smile as we got on the elevator. "I can behave from time to time, you know," I said, grinning. We walked into our room as he slammed the door, locking it. "My queen, I do believe certain promises were made," he said, his eyes turning black with lust. "And I intend to keep them," I said as my eyes darkened as well. Xavier's POV. We were going over our plan when Alex's eyes went solid silver and she growled, shaking the whole room. Alex busted out of the room through the solid wall and ran down the hall. Me and the other alphas followed her as best we could, but damn, she was fast. We followed her scent to the cells and came upon a scene that was hard to believe. Alex stood in the middle of the room with blood all over her, making her blonde hair look red, as well as blood all over the walls. I noticed Lily crouched down next to the wall splattered in blood as well. There were body parts and pieces all around. You couldn't even tell who it was. Celeste. She growled at me. Come on, let Alex have control back. I said with my hands up, showing that I wasn't a threat now. I killed him, but now we have to find the other girls. She said, turning to sniff the room around us. Lily, what happened? I asked, not moving. Randall, he grabbed me and was dragging me down here. Alex said if anyone tried to hurt me to mind, link her, and that's what I did. Alex came before he could drag me off and she saved me. She tore him to pieces though. She said, looking around. I helped her up from the floor. Go to your room and take a shower and calm down. We'll handle everything, okay? I told her. Yes, Alpha, she said, bowing her head to me and rushing out of the cells. We were a few minutes behind her. How did she do this? Cameron asked in a whisper. Alex sees Lily as her little sister. She protected her when she was still human against another wolf who tried to harm her. Celeste has taken a liking to Lily, seeing her as family, and she wants nothing more than to protect her. You've seen what wolf can do when their cubs are threatened. I said, hoping they would let it go. Celeste said, punching a wall, casing it to fall, revealing a hidden tunnel. We followed behind Celeste as she led the way. We heard screaming, and again Celeste took off. It took us 10 minutes to catch up. We entered a huge underground cavern. There was chains all around and metal tables, as well as torture devices stained with blood laying all around. There were heads of 3 men laying on the table closet to me. And Celeste was breaking the silver chains the girls were locked in. Those are the heads of the 3 men who were working with Randall. I left their heads intact so you could identify them. Celeste, she broke the last chain holding the girls. How are you touching silver? Logan asked. Because Alex is human. She is immune. As long as I am in her form, it will not harm me. Celeste explained, helping the girls to their feet. But I could tell she was lying. This one is a prison guard from my pack, Logan said, pointing at one of the heads. This one is a guard from mine, said Cameron. Oi, this one is from mine. And a guard as well. Anga said. I think now we know how they were getting into each pack undetected. There are 4 tunnels leading in different directions to each of the packs. The one we came through looks like it was built when the castle was constructed. The other 3 look newer. I think Randall found it by accident, but I don't know what would cause someone to want to do this to innocent girls. Celeste said, remind me not to piss that lass off. Fergus said next to me. Me as well. I mumbled, looking at my mate with pride. When we got back in the cells under my palace, we were met with a medical team of 20 wolves from all 4 of our packs. When did what the other alphas started to say. Luna, we're all here and ready just like you asked. The royal pack doctor said. Good, I want at least 1 female with each of the girls. They may be afraid of men for a while. Alex set her eyes back to their stunning blue. When did you call a medical team? I asked her. After I found the tunnel. I figured since the girls were from different packs, they would be the most comfortable with their own pack doctors. She explained, handing a girl off to one of the doctors. How did you get mine here, though? Logan asked. Time the queen. Now remember, I can mind, like anyone under Xavier's rule. She explained. The alphas nodded their heads. I forgot about that. Cameron said. I'm just glad to have the lasses back safe. Anga said. 24 bliss. Alex's POV. Waking up, I felt someone nuzzling in my neck, and from the sparks I knew it was Xavier. Come on, Alex. It's time to get up. He whispered and no. I whined, not wanting to move. Come on, it's almost 10 a.m. You've been sleeping late all week. He argued. G. I said, opening one eye to glare at him. Everyone is afraid of me. This whole week everyone scurries away when I get near, I said, pouting. Not everyone. Lily was there and she's not afraid of you. She knows you did what you did to protect her. The rest of the pack is just nervous. They still think you're the first human queen, which works to our advantage. Dad and I spread the rumor that since you are the first human queen, that the moon goddess gifted you with a strong wolf and that's why you're different. He said, rubbing my back. But I'm not the first human queen, I said. We know that, but they don't. It's too dangerous to let them know any different. He said, come on, get up. We've got a trip to plan for, he said, smacking my rear. I don't want to go to Australia. They have monster spiders. I complained for the 100th time this week. I reluctantly got up and took a shower and got dressed. Xavier had left for his office and I walked out of our room to be greeted by Lily. Hey Al, aren't you excited we leave tomorrow? I'm so excited. I've never left the territory before, she said, beaming. After I ate breakfast, we went outside to walk around the gardens. Lil, what are they saying in the pack? I asked quietly. They are proud that you protected the pack and that you found the missing girls. They are just a little worried your wolf could snap and rip them apart, she said honestly. But my wolf wouldn't do that. We are in control. I said, I know that. It's going to take them a little time. Once they see that won't happen, they'll stop being skittish around you. She said. I heard a faint meow nearby and started looking for the source. I found a solid white kitten tangled up in a rose bush. I reached down and untangled her and held her to my chest. She started to purr and she was just so darn cute. Pets odd, usually they don't like us. Lily said, looking at the kitten with a smile. Well, I think I've got a new pet, I said, petting her head. I think I'm going to call you Snowball, I said, walking back in the castle. We walked to the infirmary and the doctor immediately rushed over. Luna, are you okay? Doc asked. Yeah, I'm fine. But I found this little one outside and was wondering if you could give her a checkup to make sure she's okay, I said, gesturing to the kitten in my arms. I'll try. But cats normally are afraid of us, he said, reaching for Snowball. She hissed and took a swipe at him. He tried again and took her to the back. We heard Snowball hissing the whole time, followed by a few cuss words from the doctor. 10 minutes later, he brought her back out to me. I took her from him and noticed scratches on his arms. She's healthy. I gave her shot, so she's good to go, the doctor said, glaring at the cat. Okay, thank you, I said, stiffing a laugh. Lily left to go pack for the trip and I headed to Xavier's office to show him Snowball. I'm going to get you a harness with a bell on it and maybe some outfits for the holidays and a carrier for the trip, I said to Snowball, walking to Xavier's office. I knocked on his door and heard his gruff come in. I opened his door, walking in, and he looked at what was in my arms with an eyebrow raised. What's this? He asked a kitten. I named her Snowball, I said, walking over to his desk and sitting on his lap. How is she not scratching you? Xavier mumbled, reaching to pet her. Snowball hissed at him and curled further into my chest. I don't know, but I'm keeping her, I said, petting her head. Babe, I don't think. I cut him off with a glare. I'm keeping her, I said, gritting my teeth. Okay, Xavier said. I snuggled into Xavier's chest while Snowball snuggled into mine. What are you working on? I asked. Nothing much, just same old, he answered. Make sure you pack enough clothing. We'll be gone for 2 months. After Australia, we'll be taking trips around the world to visit all the packs. They all want to meet their queen, he said, kissing the side of my head. Come on, I've got a surprise for you. I was going to wait until we got back, but I think you need a distraction, Xavier said, standing up and taking me with him. He walked over to the wall across from the door for the conference room. He touched a panel and the wall gave way, retracting into itself, revealing a room. This is your office, It's attached to mine through his hidden door so I can see you anytime I want," he said suggestively. I stepped into the room and it was amazing. Its color scheme was all white with touches of green. "It's amazing," I said, looking around. "It has the doors there for entrance, but I had the door added adjoining our offices. You can change anything you don't like," he said. "I love it. I don't want to change a thing. Maybe add a cat tower for Snowball, but it's perfect. Thank you," I said, kissing him. I went and sat behind my new desk. A white laptop and a white iPhone was sitting in the middle of my desk with a post-it note. "That's your royally mail. Password and phone number," Xavier explained. "Xavier is king." "Really, a section? That's what my password is," I said, shaking my head at him. "Mine is the Queen rocks my world," he said with a smile. I sat Snowball in my chair and gave him a hug. "Thank you. I love you," I told him. "I love you too. And you're welcome," he said, kissing my forehead. Xavier went back into his office to finish his work while I went upstairs to pack. As I left my office, I noticed the plaque with my name on it. Queen Alexandria Knight. I walked back into Xavier's office. "My last name is Harris." The plaque saw he cut me off. "When you were crowned, it also served as our wedding, remember? Knight is my last name and now yours as well," he explained. "So if we're married, where's my ring?" I asked, and to my amusement he got flustered. I could see he completely forgot about that part. "It's okay. Calm down. I'm just messing with you. I don't want a ring," I said, laughing. I love you. I love you. Thank you for my office. For everything," I said, walking over to give him a kiss. "Maybe later we can go for a run and let our wolves play again," I said, giving him a knowing look. He growled as his eyes changed. "Since my first shift, we go out every other night and let our wolves have their fun, which consists of running and screwing. A lot of screwing. I love it as much as Celeste does. Once I made it back into our room, I started to pack. I packed one suitcase with my favorite pajamas, Xavier's hoodie and shorts, as well as enough blue jeans and nice shirts to last me a week. I just do laundry at the pack houses. Not long after, there was a knock on the door. It was David delivering supplies for Snowball. I feed her and gave her a bath. Soon she was curled up on the bed asleep as I left for dinner. Thank you all so much for joining me on this dangerous werewolf journey. I hope you had your hearts pumping and your minds racing. Don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and come back for more exciting and dangerous tales. Until next time, stay thin, keep that adventurous spirit alive.